Well, hard work and commitment takes you to greater heights. Stephanie, tonight on the news, we're featuring an individual who has overcome all obstacles to get to where he is now.
Sounds interesting, Nadi, but I'm not quite sure whom you're talking about.
Well, who I'm talking about is this man right here. Newsfirst Zulfik Farzan has more.
For 8 years, Ronnie Coleman dominated bodybuilding from 1998 to 2005. He won not just a record 8 Mr. Olympias, but also virtually other contests he entered. He had won 23 out of 24. Ronnie earned his unprecedented muscle mass the old school way, with heavy metal workouts at a gym in Arlington, Texas at the age of 24. The man of muscle, Ronnie Dean Coleman, arrived in Sri Lanka last morning as part of a campaign to promote the art and sport of bodybuilding in Sri Lanka. Last evening, Coleman took part in a demonstration, and this morning I had the opportunity to speak to the man of muscle himself. So Ronnie, can you tell us what made you become a bodybuilder? What was the driving force that made you think that one day I'm going to be this person?
Well, I've always been doing weightlifting as a hobby, and once I got to the point where my body had developed to the point that other people could see certain aspects about me, about my body, as far as being a world champion.
Now there are guys who really want to come into the sport or the art of bodybuilding. What kind of advice would you give to the rising and upcoming bodybuilding stars?
Well, with me, I was very fortunate in the aspect that I had somebody who taught me what it takes to be a successful bodybuilder. So
at the age of 49,
yeah.
I have to ask, have you still got it?
Oh yeah. I can still do stuff that other people can't do. I can still, take a weight and still curl it, the same way that I used to do back when I was #1 in the world.
Ronnie, who is a showman, wanted to prove his strength and might, challenged me to lift some weights. Was I measure up to his legendary workout?
You grab that one and I'll grab this one.
Okay.
And all we're going to do is just curl up like that.
Like this?
No, not like that. You got to remember, curl up like that.
Curl it like this.
That's pretty close. I'll just say it like that.
Like this? I may have lost, but I lifted.
Doing like this, it's all about the right form and right technique.
So just as you know, I was not prepared to do this because we've got a professional right here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ronnie, for joining. As I bid farewell to Ronnie Coleman, one thing was clear, and that was the message. The set starts when you think it should end. Work harder. Zulfik Farzan, Newsfirst, Colombo.
Well, looks like Zulfik has been working out. We hope that it has served him well. With that, we go in for a short commercial break. More local news coming up on the other side.
Minister of Education Bandula Gunawardena says that over 300 schools that were closed down were reopened last year.
Now, the minister made this statement addressing an event that was held in Palyagoda today.
One of the policies of the Rajapaksa administration is to stop the closure of schools. There used to be a slogan saying the closure of one school leads to the opening of a prison. 374 schools that remained closed were reopened last year. In other words, we closed down 374 prisons. However, no one speaks of such things. As a government, we have put a stop to closing down schools. The event was held to mark the 100th anniversary of the Dutugamnu Vidyalaya in Palyagoda.
Now, on a related note, today marks day 8 of a hunger strike that was commenced by parents of students from the Ogodapola school in Rambodagalla, Ridigama.
This hunger strike, which is being held to protest the conversion of the Ogodapola school in Vidigama into a primary school, commenced on Friday. Parents are adamant in their stance that they will continue with this action until they are given an appropriate solution to this problem. The General Secretary of the Lanka Teachers Service Association, Mahinda Jayasinghe, says that about 500 schools have been shut down in Sri Lanka so far. He points out that the majority of these schools were located in rural areas.
Trade unions say that the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has the capability to reduce fuel prices.
That's right. Speaking at a media briefing convened today, the secretary of the CPC branch of the UNP affiliated Jatika Sevaka Sangamaya, Anand Palitha, elaborated.
At this moment, when a litre of fuel reaches the port, the price is 88 rupees, but it is sold for 162 rupees. Kerosene, which can be sold at 76 rupees, is priced at 101 rupees. They said the prices were increased to cover the losses of the Petroleum Corporation. The minister said that there is a huge debt that the Ceylon Electricity Board must pay. They said there would be no problem if the CEB's debt was paid. It has been 6 months since all debts were settled. Oil prices in the world market have reduced. Members of the Sri Lanka Nidahas Sevaka Sangamaya allege that corruption reigns supreme and bribery reigns supreme. They say that wastage has increased and that the Petroleum Corporation has wasted away because of corrupt officials. They say the people are being burdened. Stop this corruption, reduce the price of fuel and save the country from the formula of stealing from the people.
Speaking at an event in Veeravilla today, United National Party parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa charged that the government has not taken any steps to provide relief to the people.
මම දැක්කා ඊයේ දවසේ අපේ රට විදේශ අභියෝගවලට ලක් වෙනකොට
I recently witnessed that the minister who represents the country when we are faced with international challenges celebrated his birthday, inviting the entire cabinet. At this time, a mother of 4 in a distant village in Anuradhapura and her mother have been surviving on a single vegetable for 10 days. This is the situation in the country, my friends. Because of the absence of war, a large sum of money in the country is saved. Why isn't there a program in place to feed the people in this country?
ඇයි අද ක්‍රියාත්මක නොවන්නේ කියන එක මටම බරපතල ප්‍රශ්නයක්.
Building material was presented to the Sri Shantarama Viharya in the Veeravilla Kudagamania area under the Sasunata Aruna program at this event.
Still in local news, an unidentified vessel has washed up on the Kathankudi beach in Batticaloa.
According to our correspondent, the area's section of the vessel had been burnt.
The wooden vessel washed up on the shores of Kathankudi in Batticaloa. According to our correspondent, water bottles manufactured in Thailand and Myanmar were found on board the vessel.
Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, நாடுகளுடைய
The architecture of the boat suggests that it was influenced by countries like Myanmar, Thailand and Vietnam. During inspections, we found several bottles of water manufactured in Myanmar and Thailand on board the vessel that was discovered on the Saturakundan coast. We could conclude that those on board were from Thailand or Myanmar. The Department of Fisheries notes that 3 such boats were discovered in the recent past from the Point Pedro, Palaminmada and Kathankudi areas. On several occasions last year, the Sri Lankan Navy rescued illegal immigrants on distressed vessels. The rescued individuals were believed to be Burmese nationals. They were detained at the Mirihana detention camp based on court orders. These individuals, who were suspected to be from the Rohingya community living on the borders of Bangladesh and Myanmar, were refused to be taken into custody of any of the claimed countries. Meanwhile, over 70 of these individuals were transferred to the camp in Busa and had later fled the camp. When inquiries were made from the head of the Mirihana Detention Centre, Sunil Jayaratna, he said that the detainees who were held at the Busa camp were officially taken into the custody of the United Nations. He said that these individuals are now seeking refuge at a UN camp in the country. Information with regard to the individuals who fled the camps are yet to be revealed.
And in election-related news, speaking at an event held in Galle today, UPFA parliamentarian Manusha Nanayakkara shared these thoughts on the preparation of nominations lists for the upcoming provincial council posts.
We haven't been able to hand in our nomination list. They put actresses into the list from Galle, then they are removed. This is a big problem. We got to know recently that the UMP is having a hard time finding candidates. They gathered all our friends and allies to a hotel in Galle, and then they were searching for people to include into their nomination list. They are now getting people even from areas such as Hinudum Pathuwe. We are finding it difficult to include all candidates in our list. This is the level of demand we have, and it also shows the following behind the UPFA. The parliamentarian made this statement during an event held to declare open a coordinating office down Olcott Mawatha in Galle.
A fusion of art and music. The Colombo Art Biennale kicked off in Colombo last evening.
Now popularly known as CAB, the international event is being held in Sri Lanka for the third time.
Across the 7 different venues around Colombo, you'll be able to enjoy a wide range of contemporary art in various mediums, including painting, sculpture, installation, new media and sound art. In addition, this year we're very pleased to be including an exciting live art component.
It is also a biennale when the work is going outside the galleries. There is an enormous amount of work being created in the galleries, but also it is going out to where the people are. And again, that's a critical issue within the Biennale to say that this work is not only for those who are enthusiastic and love art and would want to come into the galleries to explore it, but also we wish art to go out to where the people are so that people confront it in their everyday lives.
Over 60 artists from 15 countries including Britain, Italy, Germany, India, Nepal, Iran and Qatar, together with 30 Sri Lankan artists, come together for the Colombo Art Biennale. Newsfirst is the exclusive electronic media partner for the event.
Taking a look at some rugby news, the Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Football Association says that the inter-school 7-a-side rugby tournament will kick off as scheduled tomorrow following discussions held with President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
The Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Football Association announced yesterday that the inter-school 7-a-side rugby tournament has been indefinitely postponed. The association notes that they reached this decision due to the Sri Lanka Rugby Football Union decision not to provide referees for the tournament. The association points out that the dispute arose owing to an issue over sponsors. However, the Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Football Association announced today that following discussions held with the president of the SLRFU, agreed to provide referees for the tournament. Parents of students as well as all boys had made a special request to the president and had requested the president to find a solution to the injustice being done to the students. A special discussion was held this morning under the auspices of the president. As a result of this meeting, the SLRFU decided to provide referees for the tournament.
And that's a wrap of News at 9. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. We leave you tonight with a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Good night and good luck.
Hotline 0114-896-896 www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.